And I welcome you to Agape, a non-local spiritual event that's happening in the mind of God, and out picturing a sacred service, out picturing as thousands of people around the world tuning in and lifting their vibration above the world of appearances and circumstances and situations into the non-dual realm of absolute purity, dynamic good, beauty, intelligence, absolute love, all of these sacred qualities, which is the very essence of life itself, and putting ourselves in a position where they are becoming active, meaning not just theory, not just memorization, not hypothetical situations, but living the flesh of our flesh and the bone of our bone, so that we're putting ourselves into spiritual practice so that we actually know these things. It need no external validation or authority outside of our own conviction. Now that's how you want to live your life. That the only authority you have is your own conviction of that which is real, that's born from insight and revelation and soulful encounters with the divine presence. You don't want to have a second-hand God where you're living the presence of God through someone else's memory, someone else's encounter, someone else's experience, but you want to have a first-hand God that you receive directly from your own spiritual practice, your own encounter, your own revelations. This is what we inspire here. This is what we encourage. So that every single week you will hear myself or whoever is occupying the pulpit at the time encouraging you to have some level of spiritual practice so you know this for yourself. We don't want you to believe us. We want you to have the conviction so you don't need to believe anything other than have your own awareness of the power and the presence and the love of God. And then you can walk through the world beaming and shining and glowing with your inner recognition of your oneness with the presence of God. Thus, this month, we are exploring the theme that your role is to shine and not to resign. Take heart. Life is on your side. Now, why do we say this? There's so much turbulence going on the planet. And of course, we've woven into our themes of the past few weeks that a lot of the turbulence that we see is actually life breaking through the cement consciousness of humanity, things that were systemic, things that were entrenched in consciousness that seemed as though they would never change, that suddenly, incrementally, over a period of time, that iceberg is thawing and turbulence is afoot. Chemicalization is happening. Change is afoot. Protests are happening, and systemic changes, changes to the systemic nature of injustice and racism are shifting, and sexism are shifting, and homophobia. All of this is shifting right now. So what looks like turbulence is really life screaming out, saying the cement entrenched point of views will not last forever. And so that which is looked upon as the issues that we're facing is now a shifting and a changing of perspective, changing of point of view, changing of belief, changing of perception. And so we're in a moment in which we're asked to come to an awareness of what our role is. Our role is to shine. Not to resign to circumstances, not to resign ourselves to business as usual, not to resign ourselves to the status quo, not to resign ourselves to things as they've always been, but to take heart. Because life is on our side, you see. And your role is to shine. What does that mean? It breaks us down. It breaks down like this: that who you are and what you are is luminosity itself. You have heard it written in Scripture that you are the light that lights up every man and every woman that comes into the world, the same light that was found in Jesus the Christ. But we want you to understand that it's not metaphorical. It's not poetry. It's not sweet and nice words. It's reality. That you are luminosity itself, you see. And I've seen it. And I don't need scientific proof for what I have seen and what I've been immersed in over a period of time in my life, that you are really luminosity. You are light, you see, and that you are having an incarnation to glow and to shine and to reveal the light of the presence and the power and the love of God in your incarnation as a human being. and thus set yourself free from any constriction or restriction you may have placed upon yourself through the misidentification of who you thought you were and what you thought you represented. You see, it comes down to this. If, in fact, if everyone were to take all of their problems, we have issues that we're dealing with. And if everyone were to take all their problems and to just throw them onto the ground, and then you got a chance to get any problem you wanted, somebody else's problem, somebody else's issue, within a few moments we would scramble to get our own issues back. We don't want anybody else's problems. If we were to suddenly be transported to another planet that had a different set of issues, we would immediately pray to get back to planet Earth with the issues that we're facing here. Why? Because the problems are tailored for us. Our issues are fundamentally tailored to who we are for our own evolutional arc, our own unfoldment. Every issue that you're facing, every problem that you think you might have, it's really your own curriculum that your soul has designed for you. And as you transcend, or first transmute, then transcend that particular issue, you grow into a greater vision and version of yourself. So those issues, you've designed them. You gave yourself a curriculum. Sometimes you've given yourself a really a hard curriculum, a curriculum that, why am I going through this? Sometimes it's a little thing, I can get over this. The greater, the harder the curriculum, the more the soul's growth. And so you are to activate the law of luminosity in order to transcend or transmute and transcend the issues. In other words, you are to begin to say to yourself, I am light. Thank India Arie. Think of that song, I am light. I had a wonderful conversation with her on my Instagram live feed this past Tuesday. And so she's in my mind right now, and the music and the conversation we were having. So just think of yourself as light. I am light. You consider yourself luminosity itself. And then you turn inward. And instead of fighting problems, you turn inward first. And you begin to release light. You begin to shine from within your own awareness. First, you use the power of your imagination to release the light, to shine the light from the depth of your being. And then thirdly, when you're about to do something in the world, you're about to take action, and believe you me, metaphysicians, we believe in action. Mystics, we believe in action. When it calls for you to take action, you're taking the action with the frequency of light and luminosity infused in your action. So when you evoke the law of luminosity, inwardly shine, and then take action with light, you begin to infuse into this world more light and more luminosity. Now understand this. How you identify yourself determines your use of the law. Hear what I'm saying now. How you identify yourself determines the use of your law, because every identity has its own use and sub-use of the universal law of mind and action. The law simply says life corresponds to the nature of your song. Life corresponds to the nature of your identity. Your identity determines your belief. Your belief acts as a thought police, inhibiting any other thoughts foreign to that particular identity. So it blocks it out. So we call ourselves a new thought, ageless wisdom teaching, but some of you haven't had a new thought in years because your thought police has blocked out a new thought. So you're living, rehashing old opinions, old points of view, old perspectives, old perceptions, and trying to eke out your life existence and your happiness through recycling old versions of yourself and old stories of yourself, and you're wondering why you're not happy. No. Your identity determines, I'll put it like this, how you identify yourself determines your belief, and your belief determines the thought police that you put on yourself that inhibits new thought from emerging. You see yourself as merely human, And then you come under the thought police of all the beliefs of humanity. Oh, we're merely human. Being human is wonderful. There are race consciousness thoughts, collective beliefs about being human. Life is hard until you die. You know, this life is a vale of tears, and then one day we're going to go to heaven. You know, there's all kinds of thoughts about being human that you don't want to have anything to do with. There's some wonderful thoughts about being human, you know, but how you identify yourself determines your use of the law. If you see yourself merely as a black person, you know, then sometimes you put yourself under the law of racism, under the law of abuse, under the law of oppression, under the law of how people think about you less than, you see? Or you put yourself, you identify yourself only as a trans person, only as a gay individual, then perhaps you're evoking the law of the race consciousness around that particular identity, knowing that there's nothing wrong with being black, nothing wrong with being gay, nothing wrong with being trans, nothing wrong with being Latinx, nothing wrong with being Vietnamese, nothing wrong with being Asian, nothing wrong. Those are light bulbs and lampshades by which you are to glorify the presence of God, you see. But we want to expand our awareness so that we're luminosity first, and then our wonderful transitory identities get flooded with light and transcends the race consciousness of that particular identity. So being a black male or being a female or being a trans, or being queer, being whatever the case may be, doesn't circumscribe you to a life that is where arrows of hate are shot in your direction. No, it just simply means you've got a sweet and wonderful and unique lampshade to shine the light of God, and if arrows of hate are shot in your direction, after a while you don't even notice them because you're not living in the same vibrational domain from which those arrows are being shot. You're living in the domain of light and luminosity and the God presence. This is the frequency that you want to begin to live in. And so the view from on high, the view from the upper room, the view from higher consciousness that comes with dedication, mind you, and commitment to affirmative prayer, study, and meditation, and life visioning, and hanging around with high consciousness individuals affords you the opportunity to have rich insights so that you can, the view from on high shows you that you are luminosity. A few weeks ago, I was immersed in that light. It's brilliant. It's blinding. It actually blinded me temporarily. Last week, as I was speaking, I could see both worlds at the same time. I could see this particular sanctuary, and then I could see the light behind everything shining, you see. And so the view from on high allows you to see the light that is everywhere. The view from on high allows you to see that every single day is a new incarnation. Heretofore, people have thought, I have a human incarnation. It lasts 65, 75, 85, 95, 105 years, and that's the end of that incarnation. We don't want you to live that way. That's the universal we. We want you to live every single day as a new incarnation. Every single day that you wake up, it's a new incarnation for that complete day. In other words, you start to train yourself that this is a fresh starting point for reality to express through. You're not carrying the baggage of yesterday. You're not anxiously wondering about tomorrow. Today, fresh starting point for the presence of God to come through. And therefore, you're going on a fast from the story of the personality that was constructed by time and experience as a protection. When you were too young to defend yourself, you developed personality quirks. You developed coping mechanisms. You developed defense mechanisms that became a part of your personality that respins the story unconsciously about how bad things were and how bad things could possibly be, and I got to protect myself. And then you tell the story that reconfirms that particular story. You identify yourself with that personality construct. You use the law in that way, and you keep on experiencing that. Even when good things happen, you're afraid you're going to lose them because you're living the personality of something that happened in the past. Not today. Not today. From view from on high, today is my new incarnation. I am born again. I am born again. And guess what? All of my needs are met right now. Everything is working together for good. Life is on my side. It's progressive. Everything is compelling me into excellence and beauty. I fast from the story of the personality and the story it wants to tell to confirm my lack and limitation and how bad it was. I fast from that. If you become very observant, you can even see yourself going into that personality and trying to hook other people into that point of view. Ooh. I saw myself do that recently. Not nice. Nasty. You don't want people to agree with limitation or lack in any way. Not if they're a true friend. They won't let you. If they're a true practitioner, they won't let you. They'll listen and then say, let's get you out of that dump, you see. And so here, 1, your luminosity, okay? 2, this is a new incarnation today, you see. 3, drop the story and reveal the glory. Drop the story. And just drop the story just for today. Don't think about, oh, I can't do this the rest of my life. Today is a new incarnation. These hours today, you're fasting from the lack story, the guess what they did to me story, the what they did to me, what this happened, and even the mistakes you possibly made in your life, the missteps, and how you want to beat yourself up. You know, one thing for sure, life does not improve for you when you beat yourself up. You might be a masochist. Is it working for you? No, it's not. You see. Life does not improve when you beat yourself up. So you have to fast from those limited identity stories and their misuse of the law and say, I'm dropping the story today and revealing the glory of God. It's just for today, okay? Just today. And if you do it today, what about just this hour? Can you make it through an hour? Then you'll discover, you'll start to evoke the law of increase, the law of success, the law of health, the law of healing, the law of well-being, the law of wellness, the law of vitality, the law of vigor, the law of intelligence, the law of prosperity, the law of wealth, the law of opulence, the law of abundance, the law of affluence, the law of joy, the law of happiness. You will evoke the sacred law, and without you manipulating or trying to make anything happen, life will pour its bounty through you. Why? Life is for you. Life is for you. How can I say that unequivocally? Because I know there's only one life, and that is the life of God. Life doesn't compromise nor contradict its own nature, can't operate against itself. And because there's only one life, and our life is an emanation of the only life that there is, I can't operate against myself when I'm in tune with myself. Therefore, life is for me. And I don't have to know how to do anything. I don't have to know the details. All I got to do is be receptive to the absolute truth that I'm one with God, live for today, and then watch wisdom and guidance flow through me. Watch direction flow through me in a language and in a way that I can understand. Watch opportunities show up. Watch possibilities reveal themselves. Watch the right people show up in my life. Watch the opportunities show up. Watch the universe pat me on the back and say, good job. Watch as the universe that's got my back, my front, my top, my bottom, my feet, top of my head, got my insides, got everything, because God's got me. God's got you because God is you. You see, and then you're walking in a whole nother direction. You see, you're walking forward, not backward. You're walking forward as an expression of the infinite presence. Now check this out. As I said, if you were to go to another planet, you'd want these issues. We got issues. We're breaking down systemic racism, bigotry, homophobia, greed and gluttony, pseudo-power. This is why I never say, I don't speak truth to power. I speak truth to pseudo-power. Because there's only one power. That's the power of God. Everybody else is masquerading as power. You know, they think. That's why they're narcissistic and trying to be dominant and take control, because they're not in tune with power. If they were really powerful, they wouldn't have to do that, you see. The powerful people in the world love. The powerful people in the world give. The powerful people in the world create. The powerful people in the world share. The powerful people in the world are compassionate. The powerful people in the world are kind and forgiving. That's real power. So we speak truth to pseudo power. There are issues on the planet around greed and gluttony. Issues on the planet around racism and injustice to people of color and poor people. There are issues on the planet to injustice to people who are gay or trans or gender nonconforming or queer or whatever the case may be, however individuals identify themselves in that transitory identity. So there's some things that we have to deconstruct. And there's no lie about that. We're not pretending that doesn't exist, but we are dismantling from the consciousness that we are light and luminosity. In other words, there's no hate in our game. There's no hate in our game, you see. We're not walking with hate. We're not walking with revenge. We're walking with love. Our imagination is re-enchanted about the possibility of humanity going to the next stage of its unfoldment. And so we are here to dismantle some things and to build some things together. We're here to be an architect of a kind and just global society, which means we've got to be kind and just ourselves. Can you hear that? We've got to be kind ourselves. You can't build a kind and just global society if you're not kind. You can't do it. It's an impossibility. You can't have what you're not. It's impossible for you to have what you're not vibrating with. So if you're not kind, if you're not just, if you're not compassionate or growing in your compassion, you're not forgiving or growing in it, you're not generous or growing in generosity, then you can't. You're participating in an old paradigm and pretending that you're something that you're not in consciousness. Now is not the time for pretense for a couple of reasons. One, the vibration of the planet is exceedingly high right now, and whatever you're masquerading, whatever you're hiding, it's going to show up. You can't hide it no more. The veil is being lifted, baby, buddy. The veil is being lifted. Get on the right side of the law. Hear this. Your role is to shine, not resign to circumstances as they are. That's your role. To shine and not resign. Take heart, which means have courage. Life is on your side. Life is progressive. Life wants to know itself as you. It's on your side. You don't have to pray to withstand the blows of life. Oh, please don't let bad things happen to me. No. That comes from an old understanding of the presence of God, that God is somewhere jealous or angry or mad. You know, we've imprinted human emotions onto a transcendent presence that is the same yesterday, today, and forever. No, we're letting that religiosity go. We're praying to have a realization of our oneness with the presence of life, you see. Then we're seeing, we're anointing our eyes and that which created the eyes to see glorious possibilities. And we become enchanted by the glorious possibilities and then pulled. It's a strange attractor field that pulls the depth of us to the surface. And then that surface was previously our depth. And then the depth of that becomes our surface. And then our surface is that depth. And then the depth becomes our surface. And that surface is our depth. It's continual. Glory to greater glory. So hear it again, your luminosity. Hear it again. Today, new incarnation. I'm fasting from yesterday. New incarnation. New incarnation. This day is my new incarnation. It's not 80, 90, 100 years as an incarnation. It's one day. And then one day. One day. One day. And then I drop the story of yesterday and glorify. I drop the story and live in the glory of the presence. The difficulty you're going to have is that you might be a little addicted to your story. I'm just saying, there are all kinds of addicts. You know, not just drug addicts or alcohol or marijuana or pharmaceuticals. Some people are addicted to their story. And the toxic chemicals that come from the story and the agreement that they get from people about their story. Oh, no. You got to go to Story Anonymous, okay? My name is, I got a story. I've been telling this story for 50 years. And I'm ready to drop it now and glorify the presence of God in my life. Won't mean that I don't remember what happened, but I'm not going to keep reliving it with the energetic of it. Drop the story and live the glory. And then what happens is, finally, you get to taste bliss. Finally, you get to taste self-love and appreciation, worthiness. Finally, you get to feel what God feels about you. You get to walk in this bright sunlight of the luminosity shining from your own being, not blind to real work that has to be done in the world, not blind to what we must dismantle and build, not blind to the pseudo powers that try to control people, not blind and deaf to the weapons of mass distraction called the news that would have us going hither and yon, running around like chickens with our head cut off in fear. If it bleeds, it leads. Lowest common denominator of the human experience, constantly changing things to keep people afraid and nervous, afraid of each other, warring with each other, don't liking each other. No, not blind to all of that, but not being run by it, so we can begin to build new structures. What would it be like? Just imagine this for a moment. And then you'll see what we need to do. Imagine you woke up, you turned on the news, and there were these statistics. This many people had remission from cancer today. Wow. This many people healed diabetes. This many people healed their heart. You started to get all these statistics, because this is really happening in real life. There are people in remission from all kinds of diseases. There are people that are ending diabetes. You know, they're changing their diet, they're going to exercise, and they're off medicine. That's really happening today. You know, there are people that are mending their mental bodies, their emotional bodies, and their physical bodies today. You don't know about it. You hear about the lowest common denominator of the human experience every single day. That's called abuse. It's like religious abuse. Remember the day? Some of you come from these places. When you go to a church, and there'd be a man or a woman in authority saying, "You're a sinner. You're born of evil." That's called religious abuse. And little kids growing up, they haven't even done nothing. And they're like, "Oh, I'm a sinner. I'm evil. Oh my God, I'm going to go to hell." That's called abuse. So we have religious abuse. We have news abuse. But what if you woke up every single day and on the news, they were talking about how many people forgave each other? How many people mended something in their heart? How many diseases were cured? You'd be living in a different paradigm. You'd be living in a paradigm of what's possible. Would not be fear-laden. It'd be, oh my God, this can happen. What if everybody knew the story of Mitchell May, who was thrown through a plate glass window, dead on arrival at UCLA hospital, nerve endings outside of his body temple. Went to the other side, the being said, "You're going to go back, you got some things to do." He came back. Jack Haley, a great healer, helped his body heal. He grew back stuff that human beings aren't supposed to grow back. He became a wonderful healer and developed a pure synergy. I'll give you a little secret here. He doesn't advertise this, but I'll tell you. When he was doing healing work, he discovered that people had holes in their etheric body, in their astral body. So when he would douse them with a prayerful energy to heal the body, the energy would leak. So he couldn't maintain the healing. So he developed this powder that he had gotten the energy from on the other side. And if they took it for 30 days, the holes would heal up. So then when he doused them, they were able to hold the frequency. It later on became pure synergy, which they don't advertise the etheric aspect of it. I don't get anything from this. I'm just telling you. I take it every day. I'm just telling you that he did something unprecedented with the help of a healer. His life changed. You don't even know about it. You know how many people have had similar experiences? You know? Do you know? I mean, there's a lot of folks. What if we had that kind of news every single day? Your mind would be open with possibility of healing, of prosperity, of love, of wholeness. But it's not going to come from the little personality. It's going to come from your glorification of the presence of God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's what I want you to feel today. Your role, to shine, not resign. And I say that because there are people looking at all the stuff going on in the world, and they want to resign. They want to oh no, I just want to stay in the house. I don't know what's going on. There are people protesting. This is going on. That's going on. Oh no, God, can I just tap out? No, you can't. You came for this time in human history. Remember why you came. Remember what gift you're to give. Shine the gift. Give the gift. You will, you know what you're going to do? If you do not, you'll be haunted by the gifts within you that you did not give. You'll be haunted by that which was within you that you should have said that you didn't say. You'll be haunted by the talent within you that you didn't cultivate and share. You're not going to be haunted by ghosts. You can be haunted by the ghost of what you did not become that you said you were going to become. I'm just saying, I'm just a messenger. Don't be mad at me. I don't want to get any emails. You were kind of hard on us today, Reverend Michael. I'm getting it straight, okay? And you know what they tell me? They say, Beck, baby. They got different nicknames for me. They say, you did not come here to just comfort the afflicted, but to afflict the comfortable. So if you're comfortable in a little paradigm, hey, wake up. There's a glorious life waiting for you. There's a beautiful life waiting for you. There's magnificence waiting for you. Don't think you're going to get it from somebody else. You're going to get it as a direct connection to the presence through you. Don't plunder, steal other people's stuff. Don't fall prey to greed. Fall prey to need. And need metaphysically means that which is within you that wants to come out. God needs you to shine its light. Oh, I'm through. God is good. God is good, baby.